They will see an NSAS 2.0 coming up soon. You can tell already by the immediate reaction of Nigerians that they hate police brutality. And if you see the guy who shot him, he was not in uniform. Most of them who are committing these atrocities are the former SARS people they should have dismissed from the police who are still in the police force. They are the ones carrying out these extrajudicial killings. They can never change. And they know them, but they are the ones they rely on most to do dirty jobs because they bring in the highest amount of returns. They didn't know who took the video. Otherwise, they could have killed the person who also took the video. That's how wicked the Nigeria police is. That's one sobering moment for all of us, especially those of us who work on the front lines of fighting against police brutality. These things are not new. When we tell you that police has been killing people, extrajudicially, that was what led to NSAS. And now they've done it again. It shows that we shouldn't have let off against these policemen even after NSAS. I have been saying it that the police did not change their ways. They only hid their atrocities more from the public. And I've seen, what you saw that day is what happens every day, even here in Abuja. At the SARS, the former SARS, the place they call Abattoir. Anybody that is brought, they shoot the person right away, immediately. They have determined that if you are caught in a certain place, you must be shot. And most people don't survive it, but you don't get to see it, except to see it on camera. In January, I was using my glasses to cover police atrocities, collection of bribery. The former Inspector General of Police, the disgraced Inspector General of Police, took me to court for using my glasses to cover police atrocities. Few months later, a judge ruled that everybody has a right to cover the police whenever they are committing, whether they are committing an atrocity or not. I hate to advertise these glasses, but they are very important for everyone to get. But you may not always be lucky with glasses, so find other means that are hidden to record police atrocities. Because if somebody hadn't recorded this, we would not have. In fact, they were covering it up. I think this thing happened as of April 5.
It happened on Sunday.
On Sunday?
Yes.
But they didn't know who took the video. Otherwise, they could have killed the person who also took the video. Yes. That's how wicked the Nigeria police is. And my position is that both the Commissioner of Police in the states and all the top echelon of the police in Delta State must be relieved of their position immediately. Delta has become a very difficult place recently, a hub for renewed repression, especially with that crazy guy who left the PPRO of Muyiwa Adejobi. Before this thing happened, somebody had reported that Ogunjobi took some people to raid his hotel forcefully. He has been committing a lot of atrocities, and I heard his Commissioner of Police is also a very corrupt person. They are both friends. This is the time to retire Muyiwa Ogunjobi. I mean, not retire him, dismiss him from the police force.
Yes, immediately.
Muyiwa Ogunjobi is the one encouraging this kind of, and these are things they were doing before they got promoted. He was illegally promoted by Egbetokun. Look at what he has been encouraging now in Delta State. But beyond that, there must be a national judicial inquiry about police repression again. If the Nigerian government ignores it, or the top echelon of this country ignores it, they will see an NSAS 2.0 coming up soon. You can tell already by the immediate reaction of Nigerians that they hate police brutality. And this informs my position also of saying that police has no business getting involved in civil matters. Every time you see policemen involved in cyber stalking, the abuse, I heard that some guy was also arrested in Kogi State yesterday, brought to Abuja, and been repatriated back to Kogi State on behalf of the Accountant General, who is notorious for jailing people. I have told the new Inspector General of Police, now old, yes, that if he thinks that people are going to overlook all these infractions, I have a bridge to sell to him, and that's the Brooklyn Bridge. He's going to be shocked. This is a challenge to him. I know his tenure has expired, but until they appoint another one, to move immediately, get action to be taken, arresting those policemen and bringing them to Abuja, we know the trick. After a while, you put them back in the system. You transfer them. There are several of those policemen who kill people. I met some of them in the cell. I've seen them again on the highway. In fact, the killer policemen are more preferred in carrying out this kind of dirty jobs. And if you see the guy who shot him, he was not in uniform. Most of them who are committing these atrocities are the former SARS people they should have dismissed from the police who are still in the police force. They are the ones carrying out these extrajudicial killings. They can never change. And they know them, but they are the ones they rely on most to do dirty jobs because they bring in the highest amount of returns for them. So we're just lucky to have seen this, but I'm sure like generally we all take a position on how to proceed. But I'm glad that Nigerians have come out en masse to say this is unacceptable and we'll see to it that this is concluded. And before you ask me about MTN, we are still on their case. We only gave them 7 days. 7 days will expire on Monday from our own calendar but we are aware that some court judgments said they can now return, people can now borrow data, but that's not what we are asking for. We are asking for them to upgrade their services and stop stealing people's data, both at night or daytime, and also your airtime, and to improve the quality of service. So the protest is going to happen. It's going to involve MTN and all the telecom companies, and their supervisory ministry, and the NCC. The NCC is the most useless government agency in this country. They are just, they are some of the highest paid government staff in this country, but they are the most useless. They get a lot of money and they do nothing in return for the Nigerian people. So that's our position on this. But if the lawyers have something to say about...
So on the police? Yeah. Okay. On the police brutality?
Because only if a person is in active combat, for example, if a criminal is opening fire to the police can actually return fire and in defense, okay, to suppress such an atrocity or a criminal act. However, this is somebody that is alleged to have committed an offense for whatsoever reason. The person is not armed. The person is even currently on handcuffs, and you decided to end the person's life there. So at this point, you have become the executive arm of government and have also become the judicial arm of government. You've exercised the executive powers of the president as enshrined in Section 5 of the Constitution, and you have also exercised the judicial powers as enshrined in Section 6 of the Constitution. And you have, on your own, decided that he's guilty without any form of trial, without any form of explanation. In fact, from the video, the guy could be heard saying, "Let me take you to the place where something, let me take you." And of course, this is to show how poorly intelligent some of our...
Welcome back. Let's talk about the killing of a young man by the Nigerian police yesterday or 2 days ago, extrajudicially, that has now raised concern amongst Nigerians. Well, we use the word alleged because it has to be determined by a court. But the police has taken action by taking the people who were responsible, the forcemen or the policemen who were responsible to the headquarters of the Nigerian police in Abuja to face disciplinary action. Let's not forget that part of the trigger to end SARS started in Delta State. But the right man to respond to what we need clarity for is the public relations officer of the Nigerian police in Delta State. That's the Delta State Police Command, Mr. Bright Odafe. Mr. Odafe, good to see you. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me this morning. Good morning once again. Good morning to our audience.
Yeah, I don't envy you at all. The last time we had you, it was a very controversial issue around the Ozo issue. And now, yet again, a black spot in the work. I'm sure the great work the Nigerian police is doing in Delta and now destroyed or tempered with this. But let's talk about what exactly happened and maybe walk us through, because we saw the statement from the DCP, who is the first public relations officer. But let's hear from your end what you know and what we need to know. And in addition to that, please also speak to the appearance of those policemen, whether that is the modus operandi and what unit is allowed to dress like that.
All right. I will start with the issue at hand, which is a very sad issue. Since my 6 years of public relations, this is my most difficult moment, because having an incident that cannot be explained is very difficult. There is no explanation for this. That policeman, I just don't get what I would say was wrong with him. You know, police cannot attribute problem to spirituality, but that may not be far from it, because that's the only explanation that one can give to what he did. When the 24th Commissioner of Police assumed duty as the CP Delta State, he had a stakeholders meeting where he advised park owners and courier, that's logistics company, on the need to search Waybill before they allow it to fly, because drug peddlers and gun barons, that is armed peddlers too, they started transporting this thing through the means of Waybill. So on Sunday, this young man came with a Waybill. Having had that meeting with the CP, the park decided to check every Waybill before they were allowed to go. On checking that particular Waybill, they saw a Beretta pistol with 4 rounds of live ammunition. They quickly arrested the guy and tied him to his back and called the area commander, Efurun Area Command, who now mandated a team, a surveillance team, led by this ASP, to go and bring the suspect. The instruction was very clear: go and bring the suspect. That was the instruction. So one would wonder why a suspect who is not a threat to you, a suspect who is already tied to his back, a suspect who was begging for his life, you try to shoot him the first time, it did not work, you remove your magazine, arrange it again and shoot him for the second time. It is not explainable, it is not pardonable. And I want members of the public to know that the police does not cover officers like that. I'm very sure that guy will have his day in court and will face murder charges. I'm very sure. I will not speak for the top hierarchy of the force, but I'm certain that is the direction it is going, because as we speak, he left Asaba last night by night movement. They left Asaba to Benin to conclude his query, and they left Benin as at 8 p.m. yesterday going to Abuja. I believe as at this morning they're already in the force headquarters, because he will be dealt with. There is already an ongoing section of the force disciplinary committee that will handle his case, and I believe by the end of today we will hear the outcome of that section. So it is not something we can explain. He only knows, he's the only one that can explain why he did what he did, and he will use his head to carry what he has across. The music he has started playing, like I've always been saying, he will dance to it, because that guy has a right to life. Every suspect has a right to life. Nobody has the monopoly of violence. You don't just go about killing people because you are bearing firearm given to you by the government of Nigeria to protect life and property. It's not making any sense to me. Then on the issue of the address code, that's because the surveillance team attached to the area command, Efurun, that's why they appear like that. But if you observe closely, you discover that their vehicle was clearly branded. So it's not something that will say, oh, they don't want them to know they are policemen. No, their vehicle was clearly branded. Area command, Efurun.
Right, so let's run through the major issues. So the officer Usman Nuhu, you say, is on his way to Abuja, but I counted at least 3-4 police officers in that video, and they're culpable as well. So what is their own fate in all of this? And how many are involved, at least for you?
It's a team of 5, and the 5 of them are on their way. They should be in force headquarters. It's not only ASP Nuhu that was taken to the force headquarters. The entire team was taken to the force headquarters, because it behoves on them to stop their colleague from doing the wrong thing. The video did not at any time show that they tried to stop him. So they cannot completely exonerate themselves from it, because the video did not at any time show them trying to restrain the police officer. you can restrain you can even disarm your colleague when he's going out of line. They ought to have done that. They did not do that. So I believe they are culpable as well. They will go and defend themselves at the force headquarters. But it's not only ASP Nuhu Usman that was taken to force headquarters. The entire team, led by the area commander himself, they are presently in force headquarters as we speak.
So you say this cannot be explained in natural understanding. So based on that, what do we know about this officer, Usman Nuhu?
Well, for now, we've not had any record of close to this kind of incidents from him. It has never happened. He has been in the command. I've known him for over 6 years. We've never had a reason to believe that he could do this. And by virtue of his rank, a 2-star officer, by virtue of his rank, it is expected that he knows what is right and what is wrong. It is expected that he knows what it takes, how it is for a police officer to be seen as professional. He should be able to understand what it means to respect human rights. And that was why it was mandated to go and bring a suspect. So that was why at the beginning I said, even though we don't believe in spiritual problem, you never can tell, because that's the only explanation that one can try to give. Because initially, from what we had, the suspect was handed over to him. He picked the suspect, put him in the vehicle. Before he said, okay, let's leave the park, he brought him out again and started doing what he did. So one cannot explain why he did what. He's the only one that can explain it. And it's not with me right now for me to bring him before the media to explain. Okay, maybe when he's eventually dismissed, he will explain in court why he did what he did.
But this young man, his name has been, he's been called Ogenemine, the person who was killed. He was begging for his life. He kept saying, you know what, take me to Sapelaka. I will tell you. Whatever you need, I will tell you. I have never seen someone beg so passionately for life and cooperate in such manner. But we had the officer still shoot him, not once, twice from that video we saw. And to a lot of Nigerians, it proves one thing, that the policeman, and perhaps others there, the other policemen, know something about that Beretta pistol that was way-built, and they didn't want him to spill any information. So while they must be punished for killing that man, I mean, to the very maximum sentence, we must also unravel what is behind that pistol that was way-built, because he kept saying, I would tell you. And it's only someone who is involved, someone who is guilty, that wants to kill a witness that is about to spill the details of that particular operation.
Within the police cycle, if I tell you that we've not had that line of thought, then I'll be lying to you. Because we have been trying to ask ourselves, what are the possible reasons why the officer did this? But what makes it difficult to want to believe that is the circumstances that led to his deployment there. It was the area commander who deployed him. That kind of coincidence, it will be very difficult to be coincidental, though not completely impossible. We have very good hands in the Nigerian police force, and they will not just dismiss him and take him to court. Investigation will be carried out. A lot of analysis will be done to know the real motive behind that shooting, and also to know who sent that young man to rebuild that gun as well. And you know, this is not the first time. I've done videos where we recover gun, drugs, even cocaine that was passed in a bulb through, and they were trying to rebuild it to different parts of the country. So we will definitely unravel this one. It's not ending by just say, okay, dismiss. No, investigation will be carried out to understand why he did what he did, knowing that the suspect is already willing to give you the information that you need to arrest more suspect. He has to explain. Definitely, he must explain. I would also like to add that in my years of service, I have never seen this. Yes, from distance we hear stories, but I have never. And I can tell you that I have only been able to watch that video once. And that was because I was watching it through my commissioner of police phone. I couldn't say, oh, guy, I can't watch this. But subsequently, whenever I hear that boy begging, I usually block my ear, because I just hope, I keep hoping he will not shoot, even though it had already passed. It is that bad, because that's somebody's son. It could be my brother. It could be anybody. And that guy could be innocent, for goodness sake. It could be. It could just be an innocent person who was sent to go and will build something and nobody knows what, and he may not even know the content. So it's very sad. The police condemned this outrightly, and this incident happened on Sunday. Before the whole video started coming out, he was already on his way to Benin for the AIG to sign his query for him to go to force headquarters. So it's not something that the police intend to cover. The police has never covered such. One inspector that did something in the year 2023, he was dismissed, charged to court, and he was even sentenced to death. So one would wonder why policemen don't want to learn from the mistakes of others. It's very sad, and this guy will carry his cross. Yeah, I know. I'm very, very sure that he will face the worst penalty there is, because what he did is inhuman. He's not representing the police by any way with what he did.
Mr. Dafe, I must commend you for the honesty, because it's difficult to defend what was caught on camera. But let's also talk about the recording. Was it done by a policeman, or it was who did the recording? Is he also part of those who have been taken to Abuja?
You can't really tell, because it happened at the park.
Oh.
That shooting you are seeing happened at the park, where there were so many passers-by. So anybody could have taken that video. And I believe the policeman know that he was on record. So that's what I'm saying. It's not adding up. It's not really adding up. If, let us assume, he even knows something about it. Let us assume. Do you think he would do what he did in the open? He would not. So it's not adding up. When you look at the circumstances, he's the only one that can tell us the reason why he did what he did. Somebody even asked me if he's on drugs. I said, I don't know him to be on drugs. It's very sad. And that's why I say it's unexplainable. You can't even explain it.
So in winding down, doesn't this call for, police to start, maybe certain teams of the police to start wearing, body cam in that sense? Because if not for this thing being caught on camera, maybe this conversation would have gone another way. What do you think, Mr. Dafe?
Well, I would like to correct that impression that if it wasn't caught on camera, because on Monday we got the report. Like I said, that officer was issued query on Monday, and yesterday being Tuesday, in the morning they already left to the zone, like I earlier stated. So it's not because the video is out. Action had already been taken even before the video came out. You understand? So, like I said, the police does not cover. We've had antecedent. I don't want to start mentioning names. I don't want to discredit any other security agency, but I can tell you the Nigerian Police Force is the most transparent security agencies when it comes to disciplining their men. We don't just do it in secret. We do it and make it public. It's there for all, for everyone to see. That is it. Then the issue of body cams, I believe we will get there. Like I always say, Rome was not built in a day. We'll get there. It's a gradual process. We'll get there, and I hope we'll get there very soon, because it will, apart from recording evidence, it will put the policemen on their toes. Some of these incidents can be avoided just by the policeman knowing that I am recording myself and somebody is watching.
Speaking of putting the policemen on their toes, does this then call for a review of the kind of training given to police officers, and of course a review of officers in the Delta State Command and their approach to work as they set out daily?
The review is ongoing. The CP has had over 7 different meetings with different categories of police officers, including women police. But it's unfortunate that in every society there's always this recalcitrant person who does not want to hear. No matter how much you talk, they just don't want to hear. It's everywhere. I don't think it's just in the Nigerian police. But like I said, the review is ongoing. We've had series of training even in the state. Right now as we speak, we are even having one presently. So we are on it. But like I said, it's a gradual process. I will really pray and hope that this ugly incident never ever repeat itself again. Nobody deserves to die in that manner.
So the question is, are there more officers who have this kind of traits that are still on the streets, on parole, or patrol rather, or undergoing some sort of operation right now? That's the big question. But I want to wind up with these two questions. On the one hand, that infamous saying of, I will shoot you and nothing will happen and nobody will hear. It's been trending yet again. And just in the midst of that, the video came out. And so people start wondering that, so some of these things they hear from some of the policemen they meet, that I will shoot you, I will buy you, as they say, and nothing will happen, may just be true. Thankfully, this is not going down that way. So what exactly happened right after they put the body of that young man in the van or in the space bus? What did they do to the body? How? Because I'm wondering, how did they go about it? Did they think they will dump the body? What exactly happened there? Because they were meant to go straight to the station, but they paused, brought him out, and the way he was even tied like a goat. That's a human being, for crying out loud. Whatever happened to just handcuffing, right? So what happened to the body? How did they dispose of the body of that young man? And secondly, people have been raising the point, SARS, hasn't SARS rather been disbanded? Why are they being called SARS yet again? And don't forget, this is what started NSARS in 2020, at least part of what started it. So I'd like you to speak to what happened to the body of that young man, and why are they being referred to as SARS when it's been disbanded?
All right. Like I said surveillance team is not a SARS personnel. However, people believed, people are towing the line of, or maybe it was operating in SARS before SARS was disbanded. I think that's why that issue is coming up. It's not a SARS personnel. We don't have SARS in the command. We don't have SARS in any part of the country. In all at the 6th command, there is no SARS in the Nigerian police force. As for the body, upon shooting that young man, he took him to the area commander's office. And when the area commander saw him in his pool of blood, they quickly rushed him to the hospital. He died before he could get treatment. So it's not as if they disposed of the body. No. On the way to the hospital, that was when the young man died. Now, to address the saying that I will shoot you and nothing will happen, there's no right-thinking policeman that would think that nothing will happen, because we have history of policemen that are on death row. There was one that happened in Lagos. He was sentenced to either death or life imprisonment. The one that happened in Ugbo in Delta State, he was sentenced to death. So who says nothing will happen is arrogance speaking. I don't even think it's ignorance, because they know. It's arrogance that is speaking. This young man that has done this, is he trying to say nothing will happen? Obviously something will happen. Something that will keep him away for life.
But Mr.
It's the truth.
I understand that point, but there's still a lot of issues. Why was his face covered in the release that was put out? We've already seen the officer's face in the video, but in the picture you put out, you covered his face. So people are wondering, are you sure this is the person you took to Abuja? There's a lot of trust to be built, so why cover his face when his face is already out there?
All right. Yes, our is first in Nigeria. It's part of the criteria to be a police officer. You must be a Nigerian. And the Nigerian Constitution has stated it clearly that media parade is not the way forward. If you observe, even when we are parading kidnappers, armed robbers, defaming suspects, rape suspects, we blur their faces, we cover their faces, or we take them from behind. So by this man being a police officer who is now a suspect, that does not take away that right of a Nigerian from him. That was why we had to do that. Let it not look like, oh, why be saying I reach police store now, you decide to open it. Because it is the same rule that governs every Nigerian.
But we've seen his face. We've all seen that face. And just to build trust and say, this is the same person we've taken to Abuja. Again, it happened right there. He shot him the first time. If I removed the magazine, pulled out a bullet, put it in the rifle and shot him again. So it's something we've seen, just to build trust.
While you are correct, I'm not saying you are not. If you ask me personal opinion, I may want to put his face out there. But I have rules of engagement that applies to all Nigerians, and I have to do that part. You know, the job, we don't operate on emotions or what people think. we have to follow the rule as it is written. His face is out there. When he gets to court, people will want to go and see whether he's the one. Like I said, there is no reason to cover anybody. There is absolutely no reason to cover anybody. People know that he has been arrested and is on his way to force headquarters. When he gets to court, they will still see that he's the one. That's just the truth. But covering his face is because I have to follow the laid down procedure on public relations.
Mr. Bryce Dedafe, thank you for your honesty. Thank you for the work the police is doing, because we have a lot of other policemen who are doing great work. This is just a poor, bad representation of the Nigerian police that will have his day in court and will face ultimate justice. Bryce Dedafe is the public relations officer of the Delta State Police Command. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm grateful.
Before now, where we go people, they say where be for now. You don't know what they inside the way be. When
where be like they send something.
They send like when person send you where be. Don't send me say I bet you go pick up where be for park. I want see the boy go pick up.
You know why they say make you carry their go sapele.
Yes.
Collect
so this Usman, so that's a now bad person. Maybe
you know what made them know get the way be.
Maybe I'm telling you now. What the guy? I'm yes. So the guy say carry me go sapele. So now that way be so. What did they send? I come.
My friend send.
My person send that. I go send him message. Peter, baby, go pick up way before God is good. I go for a park. Now what this boy go do so? As pick up way be so. Where they go now they go hold am. Because if I say you go way, you know go open and now you know what's inside.
And the boy no.
So they taking this boy now too.
Okay.
So as soon as say they not kill this boy, they can't go station go do investigation. And the boy don't say make they can't go start play. Person will send them. You understand?
You don't say name no Gbegbe. He can't Gbegbe the boy.
Now so they don't they kiss him.
You don't they Gbegbe they come.
This one now go be the last killing where they kiss him. Because you know if it's not too much now. How you go kill person when you say you know they try open up tell you say see what thing happen. What explain to you? Now not only that after he stand for that place finish, the boy never die you. The people inside Siena, not only other officers, there are about 5 of them inside Siena. As they reach the area command office, where ACP Aliu Shaba the head, I saw this same man again. So Usman Nuhu constant fire like three shots from station. Come to the boy finally. So it's not early, but don't make the boy come. Make the boy talk what happened. How then this time go collect the baby. The dead go fit talk against you. How you want to talk? To tell us how they take send down that way be. Who send down the way be? This Usman.
What if now one of the officers send down?
Who know na Usman send down say go collect the baby. And the whole army just come finish the guy happy.
And now so they come out the guy for RRS.
This Usman.
Yes. From RRS they can go Ilan.
He work with us before now.
Yes.
You know say now where them ban us now because of this.
See the picture now. See the picture.
The same thing now too.
Okay. Gbegbe the boy. Gbegbe.
This one, we know we take it lightly. We not take it lightly at all. The death of this boy. If people don't say that a criminal, at least you don't they confuse. You say person I send down. Maybe you don't even know whether they want to be inside that place too.
Yes, sir. We must stand in
now
solidarity.
For that way be now.
Men are now.
Yeah.
Nobody keep for worrying.
Yeah.
You know now we must stand in solidarity now. I don't stand for social media so now.
Okay, Samo, they don't talk so. Everyone quiet from yesterday.
Now so they don't kill the bus yesterday. So Sunday
they don't fire and go.
So how say we not just
talk?
We don't lock up the matter. No, nah.
Who made that video? Now God will bless you. Who made that video? God will bless you. That God will bless you. And as not hide your face, you come and say, we should share the video for us to post them. That God will bless you.
We must stop extrajudicial killing in Delta
State. That God will bless you. So that God
have this one. It's not the second, but it will be the last.
No, we're not going to pray for them now.
Onyeka, I saw the kill.
I saw the kill Onyeka for our road now. For our road, I saw the kill Onyeka now. But we don't agree. You see this one?
I just say no video now. They go say
we don't agree.
Good evening. My name is Harrison Gwamnishu. All the officers involved, from Usman Nuhu to the least officer in that team, all of them are currently on their way to Abuja. Now, the person taking them to Abuja is the commander, the area commander, ACP Aliu Shaba. The IGP ordered they should bring all of them to Abuja. So by morning, they should be in Abuja to face to face whatever this act they have committed. They will face it tomorrow morning. So for me, I want to commend the IG for this response. I want to commend you, and also to Delta State Commissioner of Police, to his management team. Thank you for this response you gave to this matter. All right. Now tomorrow morning, like I said before, we are going to worry. We'll still be worried tomorrow morning to see the family of Ogenemine. All right. The way that guy was killed, not good at all. Not good. Now, if you are arrested with something like that, it calls for investigation. You carry out thorough investigation. This guy was begging. They tied him. They tied him to the back. He was begging for his life. Now, person I ain't send them. He was begging. The police would have carried him to the station. The boy would now lead them to whoever sent him. Now, nobody knows if this boy is innocent of the crime or not. Nobody knows, because they have tied him. Or even say, maybe you knew who Usman. Maybe you knew who Usman. Know who get that gun. Maybe you know who get the gun. It happened. This thing happened in Abia State. Andrew Chekwa, 2 girls, Celine and Afiba, left Port Harcourt to meet with Andrew in Aba. They got missing. Now, policemen from Abuja came to Abia State, picked up Andrew. On the way to Abuja, Andrew was by on the way. How many years ago till now? Nothing. So, if person commit crime, I think it's good you give him a chance to prove his case. At least, make even give you people who follow and do the thing. They not be arrest the person. No. From the information we're getting now, police did not arrest this boy. Now pack, therefore arrest this boy. Hand over to police. Police come pick up the suspect to station. The officer carry gun. Boom, 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 boom. He fired the boy. You all saw it. They picked him and put him inside the Sienna. They got to the station. He still cleared the boy. Finish him. That's evil. That's evil.
I will tell you everything. Now my friend, I deceive me. You just stop play, bro. You just stop play. I'm okay. I don't know anything concerned. I don't know anything concerned. Beg. I don't know anything concerned. I go carry you on the side. Just tell something like this. I go carry you on the officer. I'll carry you on the officer. I'll carry you on the officer, man. I'll carry you on the officer. No. I don't know, officer. I don't know. Baba, officer, I don't know. Jesus. Attacker! Jesus. Yeah, he killed her. Get
Don't make our voices. You understand? And I talk to you so, the CNN, everybody don't be aware of this matter. They will interview the mother and the brothers, you understand, about what happened. I know say the defense say they don't kill our brother. When they kill them, are very easy. And when we see them, we don't hide them. When people won't hide them, we don't hide them. We don't hide them. When they tell us what they do, we don't hide them. So that's why you get it. So look at what they write, if you burn anything down and something comes for affect other people, now we go affect. Now you know to sleep for night. Go without right, don't go wrong. Not things like this. They know them right. See, nobody will stop you from protesting. See they kill Ogeneme. You can block roads, you understand, but going to business place, person pick something. What do you advise now? Say more just go only here. You go road. And you run out of so me the fight self go to go road. Nobody go around. You can make that to you from yes. You will go anywhere you want. You go there to meet now. Then we will follow you go that side. No, go.
You dey find real Yoruba gist, culture, truth and vibes. Na here dey. Arole Baba 1010 Media, no dollar. Subscribe, sharp.